It landed there, it crashed. What happened?
See that? You can see the side of the road over here on the hill over there.
Yeah.
Like I got the old road. That road wasn't there. It came around like that and hit the dirt right there, and he made a big groove all the way around like it was turning. And it came down, and this right here was like a bunch of sand, an arroyo, and a bunch of sand, and it just buried itself right in here, and it stood up this way. That's where the hole, you can see the hole right here on the side, on the top of it. But this is where it stopped. The mesquite right there, there were trees. I mean, this 70 years, there were trees. We used to hide right there. The horses were behind there. And we used to hide right there where the military used to be working over here on that object. That the trailer was loaded right over here where they picked it up from there. And the creatures were, see, it was leaning upright like that. When it landed, it buried part of it on the sand, and the hole was right over here. That's how come we could see from up above. They were running, these little 4 guys were running back and forth.
How were they?
How were they?
Yeah.
Like a fire ant, hormiga, like that, except that gray. And they had long arms, 4 fingers, no ears, and the eyes were, teardrop. And it looked like they were naked, but it looked like they had a uniform, or I don't know what. It was a smooth, But I noticed the arms; they were longer than ours. And I noticed that the 4 fingers only. And it looked like they were naked, but
get into this factor. You said there's some fluid coming out of the ET or
Correct.
the being itself.
That's what he said.
Was there any color to the?
It was a darker type color.
Was there any color? Like, was it red?
Don't know. He just said a darker fluid came out of the body as they made the incision with the scalpel. And one of the things,
some people actually believe that these beings are like biological, but then they are also like they're cyborgish,
Yes,
and
I've
they
heard
could
that
be
as well.
robotic as well. Some kind of oil.
yeah, I've heard that as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Some people, when they say, I got picked up by the alien, they mean it. And this lady is in Chile. This was given to me by my buddy Sanchez. And you can see the marks here. These are gigantic, huge handprints that are literally have a caustic effect. And the doctor said, I have no idea what would cause this. I have no idea. It's a caustic material that was on the hands of whatever it was that picked her up. Hi, Daryl. Already ready. Yes, sir.
We appreciate you coming over here. I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Where do you think these beings are coming from?
Great question. I didn't have time. I wanted to get into that tonight, but it's just too much. In my opinion, I'm going to give you the fast food version. I will prove it, in my opinion, or not be able to prove it, one of the two, this year. Because we do have some DNA from an alleged one of these beings and so on, and we have other evidence as well, fluorescence evidence, which kind of gives us a fingerprint of these entities. In my opinion, when you look at the aliens all lined up, 7 of them, the Nordic, the Bigfoot, and the little guy, and his doctor, and all of those, reptile, all of them. Ask yourself a real simple question. If I were from another planet, or wherever in the universe, and I wanted to make a praying mantis type being 7 foot tall, where would I get some praying mantis DNA? Probably planet Earth. If I were going to do that with a reptile, where would I get probably the best look? All of it comes from here. What I'm trying to tell people, and of course a lot of people don't hear this, I'm an investigator. I don't care where it comes from. I don't have a dog in this race. My point is that, in my opinion, from what we found after 38 years of work on this stuff, is that these entities are made, hatched, cloned, manufactured. They're transgenics is what they really are. Out there, they're made out there, but the DNA came from here. I mean, the Hopi and the Navajo and the Zuni all say the same thing. These are the ant people. That's the little guys that in the ancient carvings on the walls, they actually have little antennas sticking off their head. You say, why don't they have them today? Because the models you're looking at today, those back then were like the Model T, and now they have a Lexus. My opinion, that DNA comes from here. Someone else is using them to interact with human beings, pawning them off, in my opinion, as aliens, whatever I don't know what they are, but they appear to be a transgenic manufacturer or maker clone of something from DNA from this world. That's my best short answer to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And it looked like they were naked, but
So in witches' covens, they have a ritual called the blade and the chalice. Chalices represent the female. They're used to, again, this is from the Complete Idiot's Guide, for all the idiots who want to become Wiccans. They are used to drink wine from during ritual. Sound familiar? A chalice is also used in doing the Great Rite, a symbolic unification of the male and female in which an athame, which is a sword or a large knife, a blade, is lowered into a chalice. What does that signify? Think about it, but not too long. Many witches own more than one. You always seem to find a great one that you just must have. Keep an extra inexpensive one on hand in case someone in ritual doesn't have one. In other words, keep an extra one around because this ritual is so important. Whoever doesn't practice it won't get some kind of great magic spirit on them. Now, what is that great rite ritual in relation to Scripture? I believe it's related to Daniel chapter 2 and that fourth kingdom where they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. In Masonry, I probably need to teach this again. It's been years since I've talked about Masonry. But in Masonry, remember, the earth, what's down here, notice the Magician tarot card. He's got a hand pointing down to the earth and a hand pointing up toward the heaven. He has what looks like a sideways 8 over his head, and it literally is. It's called the infinity symbol. And he has a sword and a chalice and a pentagram on his table. Okay? Oh, did you see the blade that this witch is holding? You see the DNA on it? Dun, dun, dun! Yeah! I believe that from their perspective, it represents the fourth kingdom and the coming of the fourth kingdom, where they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Because Manly Hall and Albert Pike, all the Masons said the same thing. The earth represents the female, the passive. The heavens represent the masculine, the active principle. Yang and yin, negative and positive, black and white, coupling together to mingle themselves directly into the seed of men. first. I can't say that the rapture happens first, because the falling away happens first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Notice I have underlined, starting in verse 4, God, 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 God. How many times? There's your fourth kingdom. That's the reason why it's there. 4 times. And in verse 4, I would say. It is the basis of the fourth kingdom. The iron mixed with miry clay, the 5 and the 5 joining together, the Masonic handshakes, whatever version they are. Okay? You got 5 and 5 joining together. Iron mixed with miry clay, heaven and earth joined together. That's what that means. Every Masonic symbol means the exact same thing. Key going into a lock. Well, you get that. Handshakes, the way they cross their legs, everything in the Masonic temple shows forth the joining of heaven and earth, beginning a new age for mankind, a transformation of mankind, and it produces something. The letter G in the square and the compass. God. Notice all the capitalizations here. God, 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 God. He is God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God. By the way, just as that can happen, I think evil beasts from the other realm can be seen. So he's written several books. Strange Encounters, Phantoms and Monsters. Winged Cryptids is one of the new books he's got out. Humanoids, Monsters, and Anomalous Creatures Casebook. So look at here, August 6, 2017, 2 concert goers see a bat-like flying humanoid with glowing red eyes in Grant Park following the Chicago Lollapalooza. I don't doubt that one bit. You got all these rock and roll artists playing this music, and all of a sudden spirits start manifesting everywhere. Duh! August 9th, a couple are startled by a large winged being with bright red eyes flying over Lakeshore Drive. August 10th, a city employee sees a giant owl flying off Chicago's Ohio Street. And the list goes on. And this is an image of what they're seeing. It looks like the Mothman. Here is a witness rendering of the Batman that they saw. Here is a supposed picture. I can't prove it. Chicago's one of the murder capitals of the world, and supposedly these beings are like harbingers because of death. And remember, in Isaiah 13, Isaiah 34, and other things that we see about dragons, they dwell in wilderness places. They dwell in the valley of the shadow of death. Is Chicago a death city? Are you kidding me? Here's some more witness drawings. There was even one of the Aztec or Mayan or Incan tribes identified the bat deity with their god Xotzelaha Chamalcan, the god of fire. Popol Vuh, a Mayan sacred book, identifies Xotzeliha as not a god, but a cavern, the house of bats. And here's their renderings of this bat-like humanoid god. And yes, there is even a mole man. There are dog men. Dire wolves have been seen. Skinwalker Ranch had one. There's a video of a dire wolf on YouTube. Huge black, and I mean talking like 6 feet tall black wolf. Okay? Yes, I believe that. I believe people are, and they're going to see more. So when it says that they're going to give their idols to the moles and to the bats,